Hi there everybody, this is David, and I do hope that you are all enjoying Dragon Quest 1 and 2 Remake. I know that I am. I mean, these are remakes of games that I played whenever I was a little kid. We're talking like elementary school, 1980s little kid, and I'm old, and so are these games. And just like all old games, there is a grind, although the grind here is not as bad as it was back in the NES days, I can guarantee you that much, but there are still some really good places to grind and some grinding strategies in both games, and that is what I want to be going over today. How to grind and how to do it as quickly as possible, and also how to get a chance to win a free PlayStation 5 digital copy of the game. All of that is in today's video, and I definitely do think that's worth a sub as you come and you join my party and you level on up with me. Your sub, your like, and your hype really helps me out a ton, and again, this giveaway is only for subscribers, so be sure that you hit that subscribe button so that you can get a chance to win your own copy. Thank you so much for all that, and now, let's go ahead and get started grinding out all these levels. The Dragon Quest series is a very long-running franchise, and I first played it when I was 7 years old. And there's always been like a particular way to grind, with the most efficient way being to seek out the metal monsters, particularly the metal slime or liquid metal slime family of monsters. So we are going to be looking at those kinds of monsters in particular, but sometimes there will be even better places to grind than on the those metal monsters. So we're going to be looking at all sorts of different options here too. For just like a little bit of history, in Dragon Quest VIII, they first introduced something called Slime Hill, which was a way for all different kinds of monsters from the slime family to just kind of like appear in one particular area. And while Slime Hill might not exist in these particular games, there is a Slime Island in Dragon Quest II, as well as a Slime Coast over in Dragon Quest I, but it does take quite a bit of time in order to get there. So if you haven't made it there yet, or you're not that far into the game, I'm going to be looking at all sorts of other places that you can encounter some great grinding monsters. So let's go ahead and start off with Dragon Quest I. The first place you're going to be finding the metal monsters, in particular the metal slimes, is going to be just south of Damdara, which is that ruined town formerly known as Hawksness. After you get the Thieves' Key in the Rocky Cave, you should be able to make the trip down here. Just keep on heading down south past the desert, and then you'll find the spot along the southern coastline. And here, you'll essentially find the Slime Hill of the game. You'll encounter large amounts of metal slimes, which I would highly suggest that equipping your most powerful boomerang, and then just kind of like going all out against them. However, if you just encounter a few of them, like one or two, then you should probably use something like Falcon Slash, because that will allow you to hit the enemy 2 times in 1 turn. And with metal slimes having really high evasion and a really high chance to run away, but only 3 HP, hopefully you'll be able to get them down in 2 rounds with the Falcon Slash, or a couple of them in 3 rounds by tossing the boomerang. Now another different spot that you can go to, assuming if you don't mind like a bit of cheese, is the island directly south of Remulder, because here you'll be fighting some of the most powerful enemies in the entire game, and you can get there quite quickly. At high enough levels, you can just fight them fair and square, but if you're at low levels and you just want to grind, here is where the cheese comes in. And this is just grinding and it's mindless, so who really cares? I won't tell if you just turn on invincibility and then Drakey mode. As long as you have that zap spell, you should be fine. Just get on into a fight, change the tactics over to show no mercy, and then let AI do its thing, zapping the ever-loving crap out of everything that moves. You'll probably gain a level with like every single battle, fully restoring your MP, so as long as you keep that high enough, you can keep on going and gain tons of levels relatively easily. If not, you can always hop on over to Remulder, use their inn to get your MP back up, and then continue cheesing until you're at the level that you want to. Now with those 2 spots in Dragon Quest I out of the way, let's move on to Dragon Quest II. It is a much larger game with many more characters and abilities, and a bunch more spots to grind, as well as more tactics to use here. The first spot that you're going to be finding to grind in Dragon Quest II is directly after you get to the boat. If you sail due east into the desert in Alefgard, you'll find the ruined town of Damdara. It is here that metal slimes first appear, but rejoice, because you will have a much easier time fighting these guys in the second game than in the first game, simply because you have 4 party members instead of 1 to throw at them. Remember, do not use any magic against the metal slime monsters because it will always be ineffective. Instead, you're going to want to prioritize any sort of multi-hitting attacks. Things like Falcon Slash or the Twin Dragon Lash work really well, or even some instant death abilities if you have them, like the Assassin Stab or the Metal Slash, because that will always connect against a metal monster and deal 2 points of damage rather than 1 with Metal Slash, and the Assassin Stab actually has a chance of just instantly killing it. Now, there is another spot that you can get to after the boat, and again, it is just a bit cheesy, kind of like the Southern Island in Dragon Quest 1, but if you're up for some cheese, and those metal slime monsters are running away and they're pissing you off, you can get some super quick levels this way. Just jump on board your ship and sail due south of Middenhall, and then you'll find these 2 islands that's north of Dirkendork, formerly known as Osterfair, and then right beneath that shrine south of Middenhall. And on these 2 islands, you will be fighting the most powerful monsters on the entire overworld that's not over in Rhone. They will give you thousands of experience points and thousands of gold. But again, before you get into battle, just turn on the Draki mode and invincibility to save yourself the headaches. Then assign Whistle to a shortcut, jump into a battle, change all your character's tactics to go all out, and then just mindlessly hit A and watch your level skyrocket. Once you leave the island, feel free to set the difficulty back to what you had before. I will not tell. And honestly, this here is probably quicker than grinding on the metal slimes over in Damdara. You just kinda gotta be okay with the cheese. If though, for whatever reason you are adverse to cheese, then a pretty good grinding spot opens up much later in the game, in Garenholm's tomb, after you get the magic key, which you will be getting as part of the storyline. Just head on down here and you'll see that you can open up the southern door with your key, and once you do so, the enemies from around the Swells area will show up to fight, and they can be difficult, but they're definitely not as hard as the ones in the island south of Middenhall that I just went over. And the really nice thing about fighting here is that Garenholm is right above you, so if you need to go on back and rest at the inn, it is right there. So feel free to go all out and destroy these guys, getting thousands of experience points in the process. Now, remember I said that there was a chance to win a free copy for the PS5? Well, here's how you enter. Just tell me your favorite memories of Dragon Quest, whether that's from this game, a different game of the series, or even like a spin-off like the Monster series. Just comment and tell me what your favorite memory is, and I will pick a winner in 48 hours. Please be sure to check the replies to your comments so that you don't miss being called out as a winner. And now, for the next grinding spot and the last good grinding spot in Dragon Quest II, that is the Slime Island. Much later on in the game, after you climb the Tower of the Moon near Swills, you'll grab the Moon Fragment, and this allows you to dissolve any shoals that are impeding your passage. Use that in order to access the small island south of Lighthouse and west of Moonbrook, because this here is the coveted Slime Island. And what that means is that every single slime from the entire game can appear here, from the lowly blue and red slimes and heal slimes, all the way up to the metal slimes and even the liquid metal slimes, and those are definitely what you want. Just as before, you want to use your best abilities and physical attacks to take care of these metal monsters. Anything that hits twice, something like Falcon Slash and Twin Dragon Lash, or deals instant death, such as Assassin Stab, is definitely going to be the way to go in order to massacre these metal monsters and get you well on the way up to your maximum level. Not only that though, but the liquid metal slimes can also drop the elevating shoes, which increases your experience points just by walking around, and they also increase your luck by 50 points, which will really help you get in those critical hits and just melt all those slimes away. I do hope this hints and tips video helped you out, and let me know if you can find any more secret grinding spots or any other grinding strategies down in the comments. And if you did like this video, here's another video that I really do think that you're going to enjoy, going over some great hints and tips for the Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD2D remake. Thank you all so much for watching, and be sure to hit hype and subscribe. Helps me out a ton. And as always, have a good day.